Michael Carnaval is branch manager and financial advisor. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, 400 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Massachusetts, 1-800-657-9126. A member of FINRA SIPC and are not deposits, not insured by FDIC or any governmental agency, not guaranteed by Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank, and subject to risk, may lose value. Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank is not affiliated with Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated. The information contained in this report does not purport to be a complete description of the securities markets or developments referred to in the material. The information has been obtained from sources considered to be reliable, but we do not guarantee that the foregoing material is accurate or complete. Any information is not a complete summary or statement of all available data necessary for making an investment decision and does not constitute a recommendation. Any opinions are those of Michael Carnaval and not necessarily those of RJFS or Raymond James. Expressions of opinion are as of this date and are subject to change without notice. Well, hi everybody. It's once again time to have Michael Carnaval, as you heard, with us. And Michael, we can almost be giddy.
It's the same thing month in and month out.
It is. Here we sit, and we're looking at 21/7.
Yeah.
And it's the last week of July.
More all-time highs. Seems like every week it happens.
Every week.
Yeah.
And I think the most amazing thing is there's all kinds of breaking news. Mm-hmm. I mean, the White House is in disarray. The Attorney General is, got people chasing him down the street practically, drumming him out of office.
Yeah.
The Congress can't get anything passed. Health care is in limbo and a nightmare. And it's almost as if Wall Street isn't paying any attention.
Doesn't seem to be.
It doesn't bother them at all.
Has had anything that's happened since Trump got elected has had no effect on the market.
No.
I mean, some of the outrageous things that have happened, it seems like it gets more bizarre week after week, and you think, this is the one that's going to tip over, and nothing.
Well, the more outrageous it gets, the higher it goes.
Yeah. I mean, the July market was up 2%.
Yeah.
It's up 10% for the year.
Yeah.
And, if you didn't know how the market did, but just looked at the headlines, you'd say, it's probably been a bad year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But none of it's affected.
No, the economy is unbelievable.
It is. The economy continues to grow, at a slow pace, which is good for everybody.
Yeah, just moving along.
Yeah.
And it almost goes back to the old saying, around and round it goes. And where she'll stop, nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
we conceivably could come out of July at 22.
Easy.
And by the end of the year, you start to say, well, gee, if we're going to be heading into the strongest part of traditionally the strongest part of the year in the fall, could it be 23?
Sure, that's only about 5%.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already up 10 for the year.
Yeah.
So, it's just, and there's nothing out there, as we've said, month in and month out now, that looks like it could, upset the cart.
No, nothing. Nothing. It doesn't matter what oil is doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing in Europe. It doesn't matter what anybody. It doesn't matter what's happening in the Middle East.
No.
No, they just roll along.
Yeah. It really is kind of
surprising. And then the profits are coming in. I mean, unbelievable.
Doing pretty good. Companies are earning money, and as long as you keep inflation down, which it has, there's no reason it can't keep continuing.
Inflation is under 2.
Right, below the target.
Yeah, under 2%. It's just.
So it's just amazing, really. What has happened. I mean, like I said, July again was another positive month.
Yeah. And the Patriots started practice today.
They started today, so...
Now they're already starting. They got them at 18-0 already.
Oh, really?
Okay. I saw a story this morning. Patriots on their way to 19-0.
Well, I suppose if you look at just at the lineups, that would make sense. But like you've always said, you got to play the games.
That's why they play the games, Yeah. And I had a great coach in high school, and he was an All-American from Villanova in his day. And his coach was Harry Stuldreher, who was one of the 4 horsemen of Notre Dame, his coach at Villanova. And from the first day of practice, when you were a young sophomore, you'd come and try out for the football team. The first thing he would show you was take a football, and he would flip it and throw it. And he'd do it 4 or 5 times. And every single time it would bounce a different way. And the point he used to make was football takes a funny bounce. It's not like a baseball. You can predict where the ball's going, how it's hit. You know, if you hit it, it'll bounce twice to the center fielder. It isn't going to go to the right fielder if it's hit to center.
Right.
And you know where it's going. Well, he said, football takes a funny bounce. You never know where it's going. And he would show us and demonstrate that. And so that's why they play the game, because sometimes a great pass, you know, gets into the wrong hands, and the guy runs it back for a touchdown, and you just lost a football game. You
Right.
know? So it can happen. But nevertheless, let's chat about what we look like and where we're heading.
Well, you know, the technical indicators that we like to look at each month to kind of give us a direction of where things might be going, you know, they've continued to weaken, but you would expect that as the market keeps going higher. But still not in any areas that, you know, are excessive. You know, it's where we have been before. You know, much of this year the market has gone up, then it's taken a breather, then it's gone up again. It hasn't really gone down. So, you know, we were at a breather a couple of weeks ago, then now it's made this move to 21,700 plus. It may take another breather before it heads back further
Well, you know,
higher.
but Michael, even now, let's take this 21.7. Even if we get a tough day, it's 21,350.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that too bad?
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
know.
I mean, you know,
And then as you indicate, it'll be up 60 points, then
Yeah.
another 70, then 12, and then 8, and then all of a sudden 82.
Right.
And then bang, you broke another record.
That's right. That's right. And that's really what's happened this year. The market has not really dropped at all. I mean, it's had a few days where it's
Yeah.
down, and you think, well, maybe that's the start of something. But you know, the backdrop doesn't show that. It shows that, you know, things are still progressing economically. Technical indicators still look okay. So there's no reason to expect a big drop.
No.
You know, at least in the short term.
And companies are making profits.
Companies are making money.
Yeah.
You know, the big thing is inflation is low, and that's a key. Because if inflation starts increasing, that can affect, you know, pricing, jobs, and force interest rates to go up further, which can obviously be a burden
Yeah.
for companies.
But none of that's happening.
Hasn't happened. No, there's no indication that it's
And I, as I
foreseeable
indicated
future.
before, I get up and I watch the morning news early, and if it wasn't for the car dealers, the TV stations would be
Oh,
broke.
they were all-
They wouldn't have any staff.
yeah, they're all back to
Boy, it's just one right after another, and they're giving them.
Yeah.
I saw, I don't know, it was
0.9
Ernie or something. Oh, somebody was offering one of those either a Honda or a Toyota for like $59 a month for
Yeah.
3 years.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
You know?
Oh, some of them 0% financing
Yeah.
for 72 years,
72 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zero. I mean, they're giving you money.
Giving it away.
Yeah. And they're giving you, they're begging you to buy cars.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
give you any kind of a deal you want.
Oh yeah.
And it isn't just the low end vehicles. It's the mid and upper ends.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
it's all of them.
I mean, BMW and Mercedes and Land Rover, they're all got deals.
They're all doing.
And they're all doing it, and they're all. It's just, you know, and you say to yourself, wow. You
Yeah.
know, wow.
Yeah.
What a
yeah.
great country.
It is.
You know.
I mean, that's why, you know, even during the dark days of 2008 and 9, you never really wanted to bet against the U.S. economy because it
No.
always bounces back.
Bounces back.
You know.
But this is almost unprecedented, though.
Oh, definitely.
To the degree that, I mean, I remember you and I would have some of our radio programs.
Yep.
We would be faced with, we had a section, breaking news.
Right.
And some guy in Spain did something, or somebody in Italy, boom, the market would react.
Right.
And with a trend, and it would
Right.
go, and it would drop. And we had these big swings. And we have none of that.
No.
And there's probably more breaking news today than there was back then.
The newscasts now lead off with breaking news.
Oh, yeah, well, they're four in a row.
Yeah.
And they have the flash, breaking
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
You know, car hit a house.
It's even now gotten into the weather where it's a red-lettered day or red.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
It hasn't got the sports.
Red
yet, but-
Impact Day.
Red Impact Day.
Yeah.
yes.
Well, now, in fact, the tragedy is that sports has been relegated to a minute.
Yes.
Mike Lynch has,
Nothing.
1 minute.
You won't even get the score.
No. Well, the trouble now is like when they were out on the coast, I'd have to wait for 20 minutes to get the
Right.
Red Sox. Did they win or lose last
Right.
night? I went to bed in the fourth inning. What happened? You
Right.
know.
Right.
And you'd either have to go over to Nesson to get
Yep.
and then they'd open up with the Celtics.
Right.
you know.
Yes.
So you say, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But no, it's sports has been relegated to one. Mike gets a 1 minute report.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if that's because what Channel 7 is doing, because they're really just all news now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And, you know, if there's a breaking story.
Yeah, but here's the thing that troubles me. We got the Patriots, who certainly have distinguished themselves in
Yes.
the National Football.
Yeah.
We have the Red Sox in first place.
Right.
We have the Celtics just rebuilt their team,
Yeah.
and they're going to be a force to reckon with. And we have the Bruins that are rebuilding their organization. So we have 4 teams, and then the Revelation. We have 4 or 5 professional teams that really have distinguished themselves.
Right.
But sports has been relegated. In the old days, sports used to be 5 minutes.
Okay.
Now it's down to Mike Lynch's 1 minute sport report.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but nevertheless,
But yeah, and I think, you know, the more you see the breaking news, the less impact it has on people.
yeah, some of the breaking news is a fire in Lowell. They have one of those an hour.
That's right.
you know,
You know, or there was a car accident on 128.
Yeah.
You know, the left lane is closed.
yeah, tractor trailer rolled over.
Well, anybody watching it isn't on 128, so
No,
it
doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Well, that's the other thing. Even the weather.
Yeah.
They'll tell me what's happening in Wisconsin.
Right.
Excuse me, what happened? What's
Right.
happening in Worcester?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
And so, you know, the more they scream that stuff, I think the less people listen.
Yeah.
And that might tie back to why the market isn't affected by that stuff, because it's now become immune to it. You know,
Yeah,
everything's a breaking news story.
Yeah.
It's either a shooting in Boston, a fire in Lowell.
Yeah, and they're all the same.
They're all the same.
You know, now they got these. The latest thing is these wooden construction apartment buildings that are burning
Yes.
down,
Yes.
and they got to do something about
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And they won't do anything about them
No.
because there's nothing wrong. It's not illegal.
Right.
The guy
One
just-
burned in Boston.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a story.
Yeah.
Not then one burned in Waltham.
Yeah,
that's an equally
yeah,
big story.
Yeah. And then we had the one in London.
Right. One in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the director of inspectional services says, well, they passed the inspection.
Yeah.
There they are.
Yeah.
So we roll along.
We do.
And the major news is the Federal Reserve.
That's really been, I mean, it's been kind of a quiet news month. Federal Reserve, of course, met this week and voted unanimously not to raise interest rates. Probably didn't come as a shock to anyone. And they brought up the fact that inflation is really low.
Yeah.
And that's the key, because you see, you know, if you look around the world, all the countries that really have tough times have high inflation. You know, some places in South America, example.
Yeah.
So if we can keep inflation low, these good times can continue for a long time.
Yeah. And we basically have.
We have, yeah.
Consistently for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's nothing.
Because the Fed's been saying as long as they kept it under 2.5, they wouldn't do anything.
Right, right.
And it's now less than 2.
It's under 2 now, yeah.
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 So it's just moving along. And
So it's just moving along. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's why it can continue for a lot longer.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the job market is good.
Job market's excellent. You know, the killer is, of course, the inflation, because that can lead to high interest rates. And high interest rates are a cost to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Except a saver, but,
Yeah.
you know, to anybody, a business, it's an expense.
It's an expense.
And, of course, that cuts into profits and
Yeah.
how many people they can hire. And
But they're down,
they're down, yeah.
and they haven't touched them.
They have not.
You know. So
No.
and
Nope.
Ms. Yellen is just saying everything's going great.
Everything's going good.
And
You know, her
they're
term-
going to unload some of their.
Some of the bonds, right.
Yeah.
In September, they're going to start no longer reinvesting some of the matured bonds.
Yeah.
And, you know, they hopefully will, their goal is to cut the number of bonds they have in half, from
Yeah.
like $4.5 billion to a little
Yeah.
over $2 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that could raise interest rates in itself. So the Fed may not have to raise rates, because if the Fed isn't in there buying bonds, there's going to be more supply out there,
Yeah.
which is going to lead to higher interest rates.
Yep. And I see Elizabeth Warren is
She well,
a little nervous about.
yeah, and this month, Janet Yellen appeared before Congress. She has to appear twice a year now. since 1978 when the law was passed that
Yeah.
the Fed has to keep Congress informed. And she basically said nothing earth-shattering, but when they came to the question and answer, of course, Elizabeth Warren came in, and she really kind of hopped on the Wells Fargo situation,
Yeah.
all the phony accounts that
Yeah.
they opened and whatnot. And, the Federal Reserve has an ability to do something about that. They haven't as of yet.
No.
And she wanted to know why they
I
haven't.
haven't, yeah.
Yeah.
Why they haven't knuckled at Wells
Right.
Fargo.
Nobody's gone to jail.
No.
People have left the company, but they got big payouts.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a problem, really. And of course, Yellen said they're still investigating it. And
Yeah.
whether anything becomes of it or not,
No, they're
we
just-
don't know.
No, they're going to,
Probably is going to just
just
die
go
down.
away. It'll just be quiet. And,
Right.
Wells Fargo will behave for a
I
while.
mean, during the financial crisis, if nobody went to jail, it's hard to see how.
Anybody's going to go now.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, they should, but
Yeah.
that's a whole other story.
And we don't have rooms in the jails anyway.
No.
There's
No,
no room.
they're-
And that only costs us more money.
Well, you'll have an open cell in Nevada.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but other than that,
Yeah.
they're probably full.
Yeah. Well, they probably replaced that already.
I would
Yeah.
imagine so.
So that's the story there. So,
Yeah.
And then we go to the economy, and as we said, the inflation is
Inflation's low. Leading economic indicators in June, best monthly result this year. Better. The last 6 months have been better than the prior 6 months. So again, low inflation, economy growing better than it has been. It's hard to see how things can get worse.
Yeah, I mean, and to the point, even if you have a tough day,
Yeah, it's
you're going to slip, 21.5, 21.4?
and that's for the people that didn't lose faith and that stayed in or could stay in. Even if it goes down 1,000, 2,000, goes down to 20,000, 19,000. We were at 6,500
Yeah,
in 2009.
yeah.
So, I mean, no one likes to give back gains, but even if you gave back some of the gains, you're still so far ahead.
But even looking at it, it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No, I don't think it's
and with
gonna.
each passing month, you get this jump of 2 or 3% a month.
Yeah.
And so you're gaining all the time. So
Yep.
if you give back a 1 month, you have a slip, and you give back a little, you make it back up again, and it's money you didn't have anyway.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Right now, I mean, you've got profits that, it's not your money. It's what it's all earned.
Yeah.
So, you can feel comfortable if you
Yeah,
drop a bit.
we're
you're
up
still in good shape.
18% in the last year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, think
Yes,
about
last
it.
52 weeks.
Think about it. And the people who are in the savings accounts are getting 0.001%, if you're lucky.
It's funny, over the last 8 or 9 years, I've heard the same thing from people. I can't invest because of Obama. That guy. Then it was Trump.
Yeah.
But Trump and Obama, they don't care whether you invest or not.
In the meantime,
In the meantime-
Obama and Trump it's gone up like,
Thousands of points.
that's right.
And I'm hearing I'm hearing the same thing today that I heard 5 years ago, 8 years ago. Oh, the president this. When will rates go up?
Yeah.
And you got to forget about all that, and because it doesn't have a direct
Well,
effect.
it's not valid.
Right.
It really isn't valid.
Right.
I mean, it's just, the market is just cranking along.
Yep.
And as I said at the beginning, around and around she goes.
Yeah.
And where she's stopping, nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, watched the other day, I flipped on, usually around noon, I see how things are going. And I put on CNBC, and there was a couple of dudes on there, in the know, and they were saying that, look, who would have thought
No.
3 years ago that we'd be talking 22,000
No.
around the corner?
Right.
Nobody.
No.
They'd have called us crazy.
Right.
And here we sit 200 points away
Yeah.
from 22,000 points.
Yeah, it's tripled in 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, and they said, and one fellow said, hey, look, I remember when 890 was wonderful.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
We would hit 900, we were jumping up and down.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and think about it.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and people got too, not much has really changed today. People got too bogged down on the politics of it all, and kind of forgot that the economy's doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, you may not like this president, you may not like the prior president, but it didn't have any effect.
Well, you know what? You know what else you're noticing? And I saw an interesting article today. There was an article I saw today on Google News. If you've got good credit, the 7 credit cards that are just out there that are unbelievable was the article.
Okay.
And they listed the 7 cards, and I ran them down. And there's one card now, and it's going to pay 1.5%. You get $200 if you just get the card. They're giving you 18 months of interest-free balance transfers or purchases with no fee, no 1 or 2% or 3% up front,
yeah.
no transfer fee, and I mean, you say to yourself, wow.
Oh yeah.
They're begging you to take
They're
money.
begging you to take money. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's funny. There's not a week goes by that I don't get a letter or an email with another offer.
Yeah.
I got one this morning. I forget who, Bank of America maybe. They now have a deal with 2% transfer fee.
Mm-hmm.
No interest for 18 months.
Yeah.
Almost into 2020. You're saying, wow.
Oh, I mean, Citi's running one where 1% on purchases, and then when you pay your bill, they give you another 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, they're doing anything. They're throwing money at you.
They're doing anything. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so you speak about a good economy. I stopped at Rentham the other day. Went down to get a couple of things at Jockey. I wanted to get some T-shirts. And I got a thing in the mail. I got a $10 because I'm in the VIP club.
Okay.
Well, I got a $10 ticket off anything I buy. So I go down and I pick up the package, and the lady said, "Oh, by the way, if you buy 2, you get 1 free." Really?
Yeah.
If you buy 2 packages, you get a 3rd one free. Wow. I'm always going to need a T-shirt.
Right.
So, okay,
Yeah.
it's free.
Right.
So I buy 2. Now I got my $10. And so I said, okay, great. And I think the packages were $21 each for the first, that's $42. But I got 3 packages for $42.
Right.
Well, I had my $10 ticket.
Yeah.
So I did that. Well, because I'm a VIP member, I got another $5.
Okay.
So I ended up getting 3 packages, or 6 T-shirts.
Yeah.
It started out at $42 minus 10, made it 32 plus another 5.
Yeah.
I'm down now to $27. So for $27, I got, in reality, $62 worth of
Right.
shirts.
Half price. More than half off.
Yeah, more than half off.
Yeah.
And I got a thing yesterday from Jay Peterman, and I use cologne and balm from him. And his cologne and balm is $45 each normally. Well, I used to use another company, and they were Ralphie Ripoff was $70. I'm not giving him $70 to smell good. Sorry. You know, he kept raising his price.
Yeah.
Ralph, I call him Ralphie Ripoff. You know. Puts a horse on it and charges me $80. See you later.
Right.
So anyway, I switched to this Peterman, and they had a sale, and it's $45. Now the sale was $38, but today only, take another 40% off.
Yeah.
Oh, so I ended up getting online, $22. I could buy this $45 cologne and aftershave balm.
Yeah.
Oh, so I bought 2 of each because I know I'm going to use it. I said, at this price, how can I go wrong?
Yep.
Less than half price. So I did it. And I'm saying to myself, how do these guys make money?
Well, that's funny you mention that because last week I was at the Solomon Pond Mall
Okay.
in one of the bigger
Yeah.
stores, and you're looking around for
Yeah.
items that you need, and you see 40% off sign,
Yeah.
50% off. The same thing as you buy one get one free.
Yeah.
And I almost didn't have the nerve to, but I almost wanted to ask the help. Yes, is there anything in the store that's full price? Where are the full price items?
Yeah.
Because everything.
You go to a Macy's,
Yeah.
all right? You walk into Macy's and there's not one rack that it isn't some kind of a discount.
It's amazing.
Then they have a new section now. I forget what it's called. Almost done or whatever they call it. And you go over there, everything is 80 off.
Okay.
Everything. Now, it's a hodgepodge. But if you can get your size.
You're right.
And now Jen loves to go to that section because she finds these Eli Tahari things that were 200 and some odd dollars. She picks them up for 22 bucks.
Okay.
Well, the fact of the matter is you can't buy the material
That's
for
exactly
$22.
right.
Never
That's
mind
exactly
making
right.
it.
Right.
Can't buy the material.
Right.
But the problem with it is now, all these stores are in a bind. The old days they could sell it to Marshalls or TJ's and do well with it. Well, now they can't do that anymore. So they're better off to keep it in their own house and grab the last buck if nothing else.
Yeah. But a lot of these name brands have a secondary line
Yes, they do.
that isn't as high quality,
Well,
that still has the name on it.
Well, people don't realize what Ralphie does. Ralphie doesn't, to the companies like TJ Maxx and Marshalls, he doesn't sell them goods. He sells them a horse. A good friend of mine is the vice president for the Max Corporation. And what they do is they'll go to him in December or January, and they'll buy 3 million horses.
Okay.
And they'll write him a check for, gets $1 a piece. They'll write him a check for $3 million. And that gives them, 3 million horses. And they go to Malaysia, and they get shirts made with his label, his horse, and the little ticket. And it'll say on there, compare at
Yeah.
$80. Now, nobody in their right mind, think about this, can take an $80 shirt and sell it to you for 29 bucks and make a profit.
No.
They can't.
No.
Okay?
Right.
So that shirt cost them $12.
Yeah.
They had it made in Malaysia.
Right.
They stick a horse on it.
Right.
You run in and think you're getting a scoop.
Right.
And now the problem is, even in his own stores, because he's got so many outlet stores, I don't buy his sweaters anymore because they're all pilling.
Okay.
So his quality, even his own quality,
Has gone down.
he's not making. See, he makes stuff for the outlet stores.
Yeah.
In the old days, it came down from the big stores.
Right.
Well, there's not enough stuff coming down because he's got so many outlet stores.
Yeah.
He's in every mall there is. So as a consequence, he has to make stuff for the stores. Well, in order to sell a shirt for $22
can't
at
have
his
an
outlet,
$80 shirt.
he can't give you an $80 shirt.
Right.
So it's a $12 shirt that he charges $34, then he discounts it to $22. You
Right.
think you got a steal, and off you go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And a lot of these so-called high-end names of prior years, the name has been sold to
Oh yeah, somebody else.
a Vietnamese, a Chinese company.
company.
So you think you're buying,
Yeah, gone.
but you're not.
Yeah, Liz Claiborne is owned by
Right.
somebody else now.
Right. You say, "Ooh, that's a good name." Well,
Well,
it used to
not
be
really.
a good name.
No,
Now
that's
it's
not.
right.
So, but again, it's all what it is.
It is.
And the tragedy is that malls as we know them and shopping
They're
centers as we know,
dying.
it's over.
They're dying.
It's all over, but they're
Yeah.
cheering. Major.
Yeah.
Look at Sears. It's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time.
Yep. They're in the third night of the wake and they haven't closed the casket.
Yep. The fact that they have that one investor who owns so much of it,
Yeah.
that's what's keeping them alive.
Yeah. That's all.
Without that,
They're over.
and Sears is a big anchor in many, many malls.
Yep. Well, let's take a quick look at stocks and bonds because we're almost out of time.
Well, we wrap it up with taking a look at August. Since 1950, August has not been a positive month. It's been a negative month. It ranks 10th of the 12 months as far as performance. So again, we're always looking long term. We've made pretty good gains this year, up 10%. So if August happens to be, as the history says it is, a down month, it's nothing to get too excited about or too worried about.
No.
And,
Because Santa Claus is coming.
that's right, because then we enter, as you had mentioned, a very strong period, the fall. and
October,
into the
November,
winter,
December.
Right. That's right. So, I mean, looking at the economic stuff, there's nothing, I keep saying the same thing every month, but there's nothing there that I would
Even concern about.
even be concerned about or even think that, you're going to see a big drop.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a, a rest period followed by going higher, then a rest, going higher, more of the same.
And then the only other good news is, by the time we meet again next month, the Patriots will have played one
That's right.
practice game.
That's exactly
and
right.
we'll know where they are.
They will know where they are.
Yeah.
They will know where they
we'll
are.
know what happened to Garoppolo and Brady.
That's going to
and-
be interesting the next year, what happens to those two.
Yeah.
Whether they
how
stay
that,
or...
how that works out.
Yeah.
And see what Big Bad Billy does. So
There's a lot of stories
he
floating
was
around.
funny yesterday. He says, I can't talk about last year. It's gone.
Yeah.
This is a whole new year. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
We're starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know how we do. He says.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, Michael, once again, thanks very much for stopping by. It
was great.
It was fun, and
Yep.
and here we sit, and we're not looking at 22 as wow if we ever get there.
No, it's right around the corner.
Now we're thinking about 23 maybe.
That's
you know.
right.
So
That's
who
right.
knows?
Yep.
And we'll get together next month
Go
and
from there,
see
yeah.
where we are.
Sounds
Michael,
good.
thanks again. And there you are, folks. That's another Conversations With.